Hello, eRank. Welcome to another Thursday Live Q&A with me, Pam Duthie, and her, Starla Moore. And Debbie asked us for something seasonal, and I realised I have no seasonal clothes. So we've got snow for a few seconds. I'll switch it off in a minute.
Oh, I should have wore something Christmassy. I like the snow.
Yay, it's pretty. But unfortunately, we have no other fun widgets to add, just snowfall. But yes, we'll have to go shopping and find nice Christmas things for wearing. I had a look, and all I have is a giant grumpy Grinch Christmas jumper just now. I thought better not do that.
Well, maybe a little closer. Well, I guess it is December 1st, so today would have been a good day to do it. But we've got a couple more Q&As before Christmas time. And for anybody who sees what appears to be a dead dog laying on my couch, that's a stuffed dog, but there is a real dog beside it. So if it moves, I swear it's not a real dog. It looks very grotesque, doesn't it?
It does a bit. And then if you figure out it's a stuffed dog and it suddenly moves, that would freak people out.
Amy's laying right beside it, so she'll probably end up knocking it down. It's been a few weeks since I've been here. 2 weeks, I think.
I think so. Yeah, you've been Skyping. It's like what's Starla been doing? That's
Oh my goodness, so many things. We my Etsy coaching program just opened today, and it'll be open for the next 10 days. That's just the enrollment period. You can start it whenever you want. It's self-paced. But you get 12 months of eRank Pro with it, or if you've already got an eRank Pro subscription, I take over your payments for 12 months. So if that sounds interesting to you, feel free to check it out at joinhaa.com. Other than that, we don't really have any news. We do have something exciting that Anthony has informed us about, but we're not allowed to talk about it yet. So it's another one of those, get ready to hear something in several weeks.
Yep. He keeps showing us exciting things, and he does it on a Thursday when he knows that we're sitting and we have to talk to you with this. Like, if he told me on a Monday, I would have forgot about it by now because my brain is like a sieve just now. I forget everything. But just now, it's like right in the front of my mind going, can't talk about this thing, can't talk about this thing. So it's like techie Tourette's or something. I'm desperate to go, and that's the, oh no, we're not allowed to talk about that.
So funny.
But it does mean that you're going to have to keep an eye on us. Well, not either, both. Follow us on YouTube if you're watching on YouTube, and check the link that I haven't put in the description yet, but I'll put in the replay to join the Facebook group, and then you'll get all the updates there. To find out what's going on. And like even Anthony said last week, things like if we're testing new things and we're looking for beta testers, it'll be here or in the Facebook group that we'll do the shout out. So make sure and be following us so you find out all these fun things first.
Yeah, especially the beta testing, because that means that a lot of you get access to tools before anybody else does. And if there's something screwy with them, you can email us and say, hey, this doesn't work, and let us know. It's a cool way to help us. Something that I don't know if you guys have been talking about it over the last 2 weeks, but eRank does have a new affiliate program. That's really exciting. If you are one of those sellers who recommends eRank to other sellers frequently, or maybe you tell your friends about it and you want to make a little money every time you recommend it, you can check out erank.com/affiliates and kind of see what our requirements are. We don't want this to be a thing where like people join who have never used eRank just to make money. That's why we're not like advertising it everywhere. You guys are the target audience for this because you are eRank users, and obviously you like eRank if you're here right now. So if you enjoy using the tool and you want to shout it out to other people, maybe check that out.
Absolutely. Yes, it's one of those things. Affiliates are great to give back to the people that are helping us, the people that have been supporting us for all these years for free. But there's a kind of sketchy side to affiliates in that a lot of people only support things because they're getting paid for them and they've never used them. So that's what we don't want. Yeah, we we don't want the sketchy people, but that's none of you, hopefully. Oh, how many people have we got in the group? It's like 25,000 people.
Yeah.
Not a single sketchy person in there. It's amazing.
Not a one. Tech Perch over on YouTube said, are you only on YouTube tonight? Cannot get the Facebook version. It's in the group. I'm watching it right now.
Yep. You did have me freaking out, and then I noticed that right above is a comment from Facebook. So, yeah.
And then real quick, we do have some group questions, but I do want to grab Susan's just because it's funny you mentioned it, Susan. Has anyone heard of KarenCheck.com? Someone suggested this site to view Etsy buyer feedback. What are your thoughts? We have that on eRank. You don't need to use Karen Check. If you look, it's still in the top right corner of the dashboard, right?
I will tell you once I log in.
Yeah. It's
I
called the
think
bad
it
buyer check, but it is essentially the same thing. We know that a lot of people named Karen didn't particularly like to see, KarenCheck.com being a website that was widely used. And personally, I think that the eRank one looks a lot nicer. I think it's a lot more streamlined. But it essentially does the same thing. It pulls, any feedback that a buyer has left. That way, if you're dealing with a customer who's, maybe they're being kind of rude and you're nervous, maybe you're afraid that this person is going to be a troublemaker, you can look at their review history and see, are they like a scammer? Are they one of those people who just goes around leaving bad reviews trying to get free stuff, which is especially helpful over the holidays.
Yep, and I know we all worry about these things. Most buyers are really fantastic, but there are a few, and some even you'll see maybe you have a bad feeling about one, but you find out they actually have they put out really good feedback, right? I think
Debbie said it is on the dashboard. Yeah, there you go.
it is. I've got to shuffle stuff about and hide message. So you'll see, I'm pointing at the wrong place on the screen. You'll see to the right-hand side, below the countdown to Christmas, we have check your buyer before they purchase, review the feedback your buyer has left for past sellers. And yeah, I don't think I've put anyone bad down, so let's search for me.
Yeah, let's do it. I just left a bad review on Etsy.
Oh,
And I don't normally do that, but I only left the bad review and it wasn't even, I don't even think that it would have done anything. The person's shop disappeared after I made the purchase and
oh,
I didn't get the
yeah.
item. So I think that they got shut down, but it still let me leave a review. So I thought maybe Etsy would look at it if I left the bad review.
Fair enough. So you see, you put in the shop name and it just lets you see all the reviews if they were positive. I don't think I've left any bad ones. I'm far too nice a person. So you can see all the reviews there. So that's hopefully a handy little thing. Just if you're kind of worrying about a customer or something, it's right there on the dashboard. eRank.com.
Awesome. And Rosalind asked for the link to Handmade Alpha Academy. We actually bought a shorter domain. We bought joinhaa.com last night because we thought that that was so much easier than typing in handmadealphaacademy.com. So I went ahead and popped it into the chat. Okay, so let's go ahead and grab the questions that were posted on our Wednesday thread for those who are joining us for the first time. If you want to cut in line with your questions, I was bad at it today because there were a couple I wanted to get to. But if you want to cut in line and get your questions in earlier, if you're afraid that you're not going to be able to make it live and you want to see your questions answered during the replay, you can submit those on Wednesdays to the little post that is pinned to the very top of the eRank group. So let's see. Elizabeth asked, let's see. I sell women's accessories, knits, crochet, and jewelry and ran my deepest discount ever this year, hoping to clear out a bunch of one-of-a-kind stuff to make room for future collections. But despite getting a bunch of favorites and my shop stats saying that my shop visits for the past 7 days were up 50% compared to last year, I got 0 sales from Black Friday to Cyber Monday. I'm pretty bummed. This has been the slowest sales year since I opened in 2016. Now, we've heard this a lot. People are posting everywhere. At the same time, Pam, I don't know about you, but I've seen a lot of people saying that it was their best year. Definitely more people saying it was their worst year, but I've also seen a lot of people saying it was their best year. So
It's been strange for sure. I
right.
won't say mine's been my best year, but it's been way better than last year, but it's been weird. Generally, I am snowed under making custom sculptures of people's pets. Those are really time-consuming things, but it's good fun. But usually I'm snowed under. This year, I have sold a metric ton of my cheapest item, like we spoke about them last week, my corgi butt bookmarks. I've just been flying off the shelves, and almost no custom sculptures, so people are still buying, they're just buying different things, but that's only my experience, but it's been very different. My other thing, I know I can't remember who it was that you said asked the question, but, they said they have been around for a while, but their shop, they said they sell knit, crochet, and jewelry, which I don't know, might be a confusing mix for customers as well. I don't know, sometimes it's better to have a good target audience in mind, but I think for all of us, the world is very weird just now, and it's a really good time to experiment with different things, different price points, different materials and things, um, just to see, like I say, these corgi butts, I knew they were kinda gonna do good, but I didn't expect them to be anything like this. Like last Christmas, I sold about 5 or 6. This year, it's, like, more than that a day, so
Yeah. The one thing that I've noticed with my own students who have reported doing well is that they all have very defined niches. Like Samantha, for example, from Conway Stamping. I don't know if she's here right now, but she makes stamped metal keychains. And it sounds like such a small and simple gift, but they're selling like hotcakes right now. She's having a fantastic year, and it's a very giftable product. It's a no-brainer for a holiday gift. So thinking about who you want your business to be catered to and defining that niche and really buckling down, it is definitely becoming more important than ever. And we're not saying that you have garage sale syndrome, but I do see a lot of sellers complaining about not making sales who do have garage sale syndrome, where their shop has a lot of cool stuff, but I get in there and I don't know if that shop's for me or not. And I know that there are a lot of people who say I want to appeal to everybody. I make something for everyone. That's not how buyers perceive your products. Buyers aren't looking for something for everyone. Buyers are looking for something that connects with them and just them. They are trying to feel something from your brand. It's why businesses like Pottery Barn, for example, in the US are so popular, because you walk in there and it's like, oh wow, this all fits together. This is all very aesthetic. Um, and it's all about appealing to a very specific type of customer and deciding who that is.
yeah.
So I think that that should be everybody's goal for 2023. Like, start buckling down on defining your brand.
Yeah, this isn't something I've heard from Etsy, but it's something we're seeing more and more on other websites, and I wouldn't be surprised if Etsy are doing it more. But if you think about it, if you look on a website, and you like a couple, you look at a couple of things, they suggest to you more things that look similar. I mean, Etsy has spoke about the kind of doing this, but also then when you go into Facebook, your ads are all based around that thing. So it's like a real specific authority you can build up on a certain niche. As I say, I'm not 100% sure where Etsy is with that, but it is the way that we're seeing all kind of search engines go, that they go, this kind of person likes this kind of thing, so I'm going to show them all this kind of thing. And then if Starla comes on and looks at something a bit similar to me, then they'll go, oh, Starla likes similar things to Pam, so we'll show her all this. So you can get really kind of pigeonholed in things. I mean, you've probably noticed it in, whatever news content you read on the internet. You get to see more of that, and you don't get to see the other side of the argument, kind of thing. So the internet is becoming very niched down. So we might have to follow suit.
Yeah, if you've got, Betty who collects pottery, and she goes on Etsy just looking for pottery, Etsy's going to show her more pottery. And if you only sell pottery, Etsy's going to say, let's show your pottery to Betty. Whereas if you sold one piece of pottery and a shirt and a necklace and a purse and some shoes and a coaster, you're not a pottery shop. You're not for Betty. So, and Betty, typically the people who are looking for that very specific type of thing are the people who want to buy that very specific type of thing. Those are the people you want to appeal to, because those are the people who are going to spend the most money.
They're the avid buyers, yeah.
Mhm.
And that is, I think that was the thing I had in my head, and I didn't know how to say it. Starla's really useful at, at doing these things, but that's it. The algorithm. Well, I assume Etsy's working in the same direction. I've not done much testing on it, but Etsy doesn't understand that you're a pottery shop. The more signals you give it that you're a good shop for pottery, then the more likely they are to put pottery users in. So I would look at how you can niche. I mean, chances are you're going to find yourself being niched anyway, because most of us do find that one or two things are the biggest sellers in our shop. So Etsy starts to see, yeah, you're really good for this kind of thing. Maybe not so much for knitwear of jewelry selling or something like that.
Yeah. All right. Well, it looks like that was the only question that we had from our Wednesday post. It was more discussions and, people agreeing with the sales being slower. So we'll go ahead and go to questions from the chat. Heather on Facebook asked, when using the listing tool for keyword research, what month is usually the most recent that would show stats up where you see the graphs? So if I'm looking up something today, would the most recent month results be November? I'm seeing September as the most recent.
It should be October. Drop us a mail on support@erank.com with the keyword you're looking for. It should be showing October. I believe Anthony just said no. Yeah, November results should be up tomorrow. They
Yeah.
do have to go through them and check for naughty words and things, but that system is getting much faster now, and hopefully they should be up really soon. But there is a small amount of manual work needed before the keywords can go up. So it doesn't. If it's the first of the month, it's unlikely you'll see last month's data yet. But October should be up there.
All right, let's see. Lots of comments about the butts, the corgi butts, not and not for anybody who's joining us late, they're like, what butts? Okay. Paige asked, do y'all consider printables a niche as a whole? No. What printables, that could be chore lists for kids, or it could be a naughty sexy time bedroom game for adults. Those are totally different niches. Printable tells me absolutely nothing about what you sell. Anything could be a printable. Who are your printables for? What are they? What type of person are you selling them to? If they're chore lists, you're selling them to parents of kids ages, 5 to 13 maybe. If it's sexy time adult checklists or whatever, I don't know, or games, you're selling them to adults, hopefully, and maybe newlyweds could be a good target market for you, or bachelorette parties and things like that. If it's artwork, what type of artwork is it? What type of customer is most likely to buy it? If it's big watercolor flowers, it's probably very likely that your target customers are women. You've got to be able to look at what it is that you're selling and dive deeper into that.
Yep. I can't remember who said it, but somebody said with these, what you're looking to do is to go like an inch wide and a mile deep. So if you're selling watercolor, downloads of watercolor flowers, then you can make every single type of flower that people look for. You can be the shop to go to for that thing. And niching yourself doesn't make you less likely to sell. As we said, it makes it more likely, but it also it makes it easier to know what things to make, because in your head, you know the person you're creating for. You know that avatar of the person, what they like, what kind of color schemes they like. So when you're making your Instagram posts, you know how to make them look and everything. So it actually makes things much easier, and it gives you so many more ideas for things.
Absolutely. I always in Handmade Alpha Academy, I talk about the difference between laser focus and flashlight focus. Where a flashlight, yeah, it might be a wider radius, but it's dimmer and it's not very precise. That light's going all over the place. But a laser is going to be the brightest because it's hitting at a very concentrated point, because all of that light is compact into that tiny little beam rather than being dim and being scattered all over the place.
Exactly. Yes. So
All right.
yeah, find yourself a niche. I know so many people. There's so much advice out there, and so many people like start a printable store. It's dead easy. You can just get stuff up there, but it's so much easier if you figure out who it is you want to sell to, and you have that niche. I mean, I'm sure if any of us have shopped on Etsy, we see how niched some shops are. I've seen shops that just make the little weights for hanging on knitting when you're creating knitting things. They make cute little knitting weights or stuff, you know. So if you have any friends that knit, you know to go to that shop, and all these very niche shops can do fantastically well.
Yeah. All right. Wendy asked if there was a video on researching the best potential long tail keywords in eRank, then turning into tags that fit in the 20 characters and 13 tags. I have a couple on my channel. I'm not sure. Do we have any on?
There is on the eRank channel, there was Debbie had done a blog post on the keyword tool, and we turned that into a video. That's actually that's the best performing video on the eRank channel. Yeah, myself and Starla are constantly talking about things like this pretty much. But I did one a couple of years ago, where I was doing the breaking down of the bronze and opal steampunk engagement ring. Um,
Do you
but
remember what anything in the title of that was? I kind of talk about it in my 12-minute SEO video, which I will go ahead and link in the Facebook chat. For those of you on eRank, or on YouTube, you'll have to type in Starla More SEO to find it. And then, Pam, do you know any keywords associated
um,
with it?
it could have been my never before shared Etsy keyword strategy. I think it might have been that one. Oh,
I'm going to search never. Found it.
I think it's that. If it's not, it's in. I did a little playlist deep dive in SEO, and I remember totally doing that. How to break things up, because of course, when you find the long tail keywords, they aren't necessarily 20 characters. So a quick point for those things is, well, firstly, it doesn't necessarily matter how you break them up, in that Etsy is able to mix and match what you've put in your tags. But if you can break up your tags, Starla does this one with your skeleton key thingy. You don't
Yes.
just break it up into, you don't necessarily break it up into things that don't make sense. So Starla wouldn't have a tag of a skeleton because she doesn't sell skeletons. So you can find ways, and with the bronze and opal steampunk engagement ring, there was ways to break that up, that I could that in the 20 characters, I could also have tags that were decent keywords as well, like bronze engagement ring, steampunk. I can't remember, but I'd found like keywords around that as well.
Yeah, I went ahead. For those watching on YouTube, because Richard, I see over on YouTube, you asked kind of the same question. As a new subscriber to eRank, what line of tutorials would you recommend as keyword research, tags, titles, etc.? It seems quite overwhelming and starting out. These videos will help you as well. Both of them I would recommend. And I did go ahead and pop those links into the YouTube chat. First one is my video. Second one is Pam's video. It's always good because Pam and I are using the same tool. But we have different ways that we use it, and it's good to see different perspectives. So it kind of gives you a really cool opportunity to see how we each do our own workflow, because you'll be able to develop your own workflow as well. Everybody's going to have a different workflow when it comes to
Yeah.
their Etsy SEO.
There's no right and wrong. There's quite a lot of different ways of doing it. And actually, Starla, you just reminded me, in everyone who's in the Facebook group, if you open up the eRank Facebook group, along the top somewhere there is guides, and we pinned some examples of the flow there. And there was one really good video from, I'm going to get her name wrong, but Deborah Engel, but
Engelman,
Engelman is
Engelmeyer,
that? Yeah,
Engelmeyer.
who's a great YouTuber who did a step-by-step of how she uses eRank as well. So these are all super helpful. There are a lot of wonderful YouTubers who use eRank that haven't been asked to use eRank. Well, even myself and Starla, the stuff that we put on our own YouTube channels are our own stuff. That's what we would have done if we weren't working for eRank anyway. So
Yeah.
that they're our own words. It's when it's on the eRank channel that I've got to be good and talk sensibly.
Oh yeah, that's something that I have mentioned in my last video that came out. I'm like, eRank has a new affiliate program, but to be clear, I'm not an affiliate.
Yeah, we don't get to be affiliates. But
All
that
right.
means the stuff that we say on our own YouTube channel is our own words, and nobody's paying for us to say it.
Exactly. So you should listen to us even more. Tina put a bunch of wolves into the chat. Sorry about that last week during Q&A. I sent everybody to
Totally
bombard the
raided.
chat.
Yeah. We had, for those that missed it, and you should check the replay, but we had Anthony Wolf on, and he was given a really great demo of some of the new tools and everything. So that's another good reason to look back. But I was just looking through the chat and it exploded with wolves, and I was like, I can't interrupt Anthony because he's doing really good, but we've just we've just been raided by a pack of wolves.
Right when we ended the chat or ended our stream, because we had like 300 people. I was just like, okay, now all of you go say hi to Pam and Anthony. They have a present for you.
Yep. Oh, it was very cool, and I think a good chunk of all of you, all of them jumped over. So that was really cool too.
Heather said, I run Etsy ads and I found the more that I'm able to adjust the words an item is being found for within the Etsy ads dashboard seems to really help me narrow down the audience coming to my shop buying. That is a great tip.
Yep. If you haven't seen that on the Etsy ads, go into your Etsy ads dashboard. I actually literally just did a video about this, showing you how to do this this week. Yeah, but not showing you how to. I'm going to show you how to use the data there, but just to show you what the data is, how to turn off those keywords and things, because it was about a year ago Etsy gave us this ability, but didn't really tell us. So if you go into your Etsy ads dashboard and then click on the button to show advertised listings, and then click details under each listing, you'll see all the keywords that you were found for. And if they're irrelevant to what you were selling, because sometimes ads, Etsy goes, I don't know what that person's searching for here. Let them see Starla's item, and you'd be looking at it going, that has nothing to do with what my item is. You can click the button to tell Etsy that that's an irrelevant keyword. So that's awesome, Heather, that you're seeing that that's helping you. Because
Absolutely.
literally, you shouldn't. We can't anymore just put money into ads and then hope that you get sales. You've got to use the data that you're getting, and there is some data there. You have to be strategic with your ads, whether your strategy is to advertise your best-selling items, your new range, testing different keywords, but you have to have a strategy. Otherwise, it's going to cost you a whole lot of money for nothing.
Absolutely. Uh, Jane asked a good one that will have to be all you. When would you suggest we cut off sales from UK to US via Royal Mail International Tract?
I Today. Um, Jen, I can't remember what the date is. It's usually about the 14th or something, but
At a week or more.
yeah, definitely more. I knew there were strikes happening in the UK, but I totally forgot about it, and I drove past the post office today and saw everyone out picketing it and everything. The UK post office has been hammered. I would get stuff posted as soon as possible, like in the next day or so. I've seen my US orders just now have taken about 3 weeks to get there, which isn't bad, but it's not the speed that the the last shipping date, what our post office tells you to do, you're gonna be about 50/50 if your orders get there in time, so on a good year. So it's not worth the risk. So I'm sorry to say, but I would start telling your customers, if people buy from now on, just tell them you can't guarantee it'll get there in time.
Yeah.
Put that up in your announcement, put that everywhere, because it's a nightmare on Christmas Day to have angry people messaging you. Been there, done that.
All right. Heather asked, any suggestions about knowing when to open a second shop with a different niche and products? I have opinions, but Pam, I'm going to let you go first.
Um,
I think
yeah,
our opinions will be different.
when you've got time, really. I would say when your original shop is up to a situation that you're kind of freewheeling, that you have a good coasting along, you know what you're doing with your social media, your SEO's all nailed in, you know what you're doing, and you have spare time, because building up a shop from scratch is a lot more work than keeping one going that's already good. Both myself and Starla over the years have tried opening second shops and things, and it's a lot harder. There's a lot of work. You've got to have that time to build up all new social media, perhaps all new websites. Everything needs to be more than doubled up. So when you have time and you're comfortable to do it. I know so many of us are crafty people, and you don't just have one craft or one thing you can create. You have loads of ideas, but sometimes you've got to rein it in a bit and wait.
Yeah. I always say that, two shops does not equal double money. I think that that's what everybody thinks. It means double money, but it doesn't. It means double work, double time, and you can't invest 100% into your business if that time is being divided right down the middle. So, like Pam said, I guess we agree completely, because I am just going to echo what you said. I recommend getting one shop to a point of sustainability and making sure that you know what you're doing and that you've learned all that you need to know about things like SEO, like your product photography, like your branding, before you try to open another one. Because it's like trying to build two houses at the same time when you have no roof over your head. If you needed to build two houses, would you try to build them both at the same time? Because ultimately you're going to still be getting rained on while you're doing that, and you're going to be working way slower. Or would you build one up and get the roof on it, that way you have somewhere to live, that way you can kind of slowly work on the other one and build that one up while you still have something steady. Make sure that it is something that you are capable of. Now, I do think that it's a little bit different if you've got a physical product shop and a digital shop, for example, because that doesn't take nearly as much time. But it just depends on if you're planning on marketing it to the extent that, most big shops do. If you're just aiming to make a little bit of money here and there, then it's no big deal. But if you're wanting to run like 2 full-scale successful businesses, you've got to make sure that you've got the time for it. Otherwise, it's going to really, really start to wear on your sanity.
Yeah, some people do, like, if you have an art shop or something, you could have a digital shop of your art stuff, although they would both work in in the same shop. Some people like to do 2 shops, and you could totally do that. The other thing I'm thinking as well, if you're up to the point that your one shop's doing fantastically well, I would probably say rather than opening a second shop, that's the time to look at sort of covering your back in case doesn't Etsy has issues for you, your shop gets closed down. So that would be perhaps the time to be really building your website or building up your mailing list or something to cover your back. I'd be a bit nervous about putting all your eggs, putting all that work into Etsy with not having any backup somewhere else.
Yeah. All right. Hi, Amber. Amber, when did you cut off shipping to the US? Somebody was asking about shipping cutoff dates for international. Let us know when. I think you already cut yours off, right? Jane asked, when I search colorful necklace on eRank, rank checker, okay, wait, wrong context. When I search colorful necklace on eRank's rank checker for all, I get 0 on the first 10 pages. But for colorful necklace with a U, I get 13. So that suggests Etsy is not recognizing colorful outside the UK. So does this mean that to rank for US audiences, we have to use colorful, or is it to do with the rank checker?
I'll actually have to look into that a bit more, but in general, Etsy does understand the difference between them, but it does tell us that exact match for what the customer's searching for does rank a little bit higher.
Well, keep in mind
Um,
that layer of personalization as well, based on their location, is going to influence who sees your products anyway. So even if you're not ranking high on a search page, um, your UK buyers by default are going to be seeing more of your products.
yep, it's a tricky one, but if I don't remind me tomorrow in the Facebook group, and I will sort of dig into that and have a little look. I know I will forget tonight. But yes, that's an interesting one. You should be showing up for both, but I'm not entirely sure. But and it's also as you have these listings, are you getting found for the terms, and in what countries are you getting found for the terms? That's worth checking on as well.
Amber said that she's cutting off her shipping in the UK tomorrow, Friday the 2nd. So
Yeah,
that,
I think that's sensible. Yes.
and Amber's been doing this for over 5 years now, so she might be somebody to listen to. for anybody who needs that extra layer of confirmation. If you don't believe us, then believe Amber.
Yep. I think for the past couple of years, I've switched off. Well, I've not switched off. I've told customers from the last day in November, that's it. I can no longer guarantee shipping. And if people do want to buy after that, they're perfectly happy that things might not show up. Etsy, for the UK at least, did create a little PDF that you can send to your customer that they can print out to give to the person they're gifting to. I would suggest making one of your own. You can totally do that in Canva or something easily. Drop the picture of the image that the person's getting, brand it up with your shop and everything, and say, you know, something is on its way. It's coming from the UK. Your friend bought you a special gift, kind of thing, so that the person, if the item's going to be late, the person still has something they can gift.
Absolutely. All right, let's see. Anne said that she was lined up to join HAA, but sold her house today. So
Congratulations.
I was gonna say, I'm assuming you wanted to sell your house. It wasn't like we don't
I
want to
don't think you
congratulate.
can accidentally sell your house. You have to
Right. But
actively.
maybe you didn't want to sell your house, but you did it for your own good. I don't know. But congratulations on selling your house, hopefully. Congratulations. And HAA opens in June, so there are always other opportunities to join. You take care of you. You take care of you, girl. Let's see. Facebook user. If your names come up as Facebook user, it's because you didn't sign in with our little Be Live thing. Talking about Etsy ads, they always use highest price items to prioritize it, and usually highest search terms are very vague or too broad. Felt ornament rather than specific. How to deal with that? Any ideas?
I'm trying to understand that. They always use the highest price items to prioritize. For that, if you're saying that they'll generally show your most expensive listings, the Etsy Coders blog, there was a talk about that, and it's roughly okay. How bidding on ads work is kind of complicated, but it's sort of like an eBay auction in that the cost per click, every listing that could be shown. Right, this sounds weird. Etsy runs the bidding for every single listing that could be shown, and they all go, "Oh, I'm going to pay 1 cent per click. I'm going to pay 2 cents," until everyone's budget runs out. And how they decide what the top cost per click is sort of based on the projected amount of money that the listing is going to make. So, to an extent, if it's more likely to sell, then a higher priced item would be able to bid up higher and get seen a little more often in ads. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's kind of how I read it. So if you're finding your highest priced items are eating up your ad budget, turn them off. And then what will happen is your competition's highest priced items will burn through their ad budget early in the day, and your cheaper items will get seen later. Hopefully, that's a theory.
Hacks.
Yep. And the highest search terms are vague or too broad. If the search terms that you're getting seen for in your ads you don't like, we spoke about this just about half an hour ago. Go into your Etsy ads dashboard. It takes a few clicks to get through to the searched terms. Well, obviously you're seeing the search terms because you're saying they're vague ones. Click the button underneath that says that's not a relevant search term. Get rid of the expensive search terms that are not working for you.
Absolutely. All right, over on YouTube, Fernanda. Do you have any idea how to add the update international express shipping if costs are very different to a same country? As an example, shipping to urban USA could be $25, while to rural USA is $50.
Oh, I don't think I've heard of a different price for that for
I was going to say
international
within the
shipping.
US, we don't pay more for.
Yeah, we don't in the UK, so that's very strange. But roughly, you have two, you have several options. You can go with the most expensive option, and sometimes the customers will pay more. You can go with the cheapest option, and you'll be out of pocket sometimes, or you can figure out sort of roughly how often you're getting orders from each location and do a sort of average. If there's different prices, I don't think Etsy, no, not even I don't think Etsy doesn't give us an option for different prices for things like that. And to my understanding, it's only the US that has calculated shipping. We have to put in how much we think it's going to cost. So we don't have an option. We can say it's going to cost this much to this country. We can't say it's going to cost this much to this bit of this country.
Yeah.
That's one. If that's something in your country, I would message Etsy because quite often they're not aware of the different postal services. So they need to know that their system isn't working, and they do make changes eventually.
All right. Let's see. I'm trying to like match up comments. I have Facebook chat, YouTube chat, and then the Be Live chat all up at the same time.
I know
This
you're doing great. I did terribly last week with Anthony. That if anyone wants to check the video, you can fast forward through the bits where me and Anthony are trying to read and talk at the same time. It doesn't go well.
got it down to a system. This looks like Lisa, but you'll see it as Facebook user. I jumped on the free eRank trial. What are the top 3 things I should figure out? I find myself all over the place. I'm disappointed on the top sellers. Competition categories don't drill down enough for my niche. Can anyone use that feature? Seems like you can parse more data for that feature to be usable would be great. Okay, so there's multiple things here. Let's fast forward a little bit and cover the top sellers category since you're unhappy with that. And then we will get into the top 3 things that you should try to figure out. Pam, I'm trying to visualize what she's talking about.
Yeah, the top sellers, you can pick categories like jewelry or home and living. I can't remember the exact categories to see who the top sellers are in those
Got it.
categories. But I know a few people would prefer if we were able to drill down more so you could see who were the top sellers for moonstone rings. I don't know.
You can track your own competitors, though.
Yep. Yes, exactly. And that the top sellers is just like an overview to help you with what it says, the top sellers. These are the real biggies. What I would use is a tool like the keyword tool, search for the keywords. And then, in fact, Anthony talked about this last week. So check out last week's video. But you can, in fact, yeah, he talked about using the rank checker, but you can do it in the keyword tool as well. Scroll down and you'll see the listings that are ranking in the top 100 for that keyword. And the listings that are ranking highest, especially the ones with the highest number of views, are the likely to be the ones that are selling the most for that keyword. So you can find them, and then we have the competition section. Like Starla says, you can make up your own list of competitors that you want to follow. So when you find them, add them to your sales competition sales. So it's competitions in the drop down on the menu, and then sales, and put in the competitors, and then we'll track them for you. So you make your own niche basically.
Yeah, I just thought of something. Her second question was top 3 things that she should figure out. And that actually made me think that it might be cool to make a blog post about that topic.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So I went ahead
Yeah,
and wrote that
yeah.
down.
So guys, let us know in chat. I love this question actually. Everyone let us know in chat what your top 3 tools are, and we'll tell you our top 3 tools or top 3 things you should be doing.
Yeah, well, we're to 10 minutes and we have a lot of questions, so we might have to power through them kind of quick. But I think that most of our favorite tools we've talked about today a little bit. The keyword tool is my favorite. Pam, I'm assuming it's probably your favorite as well.
Definitely one of my favorites. Yes.
Yeah, the keyword tool is, to me, why I go to eRank. Sorry about the blur. I don't know why I'm so blurry. The keyword tool is going to give you so much amazing data. It's going to tell you how searched the terms are that you're, that you're trying to sell your products, the keywords that you're associating with what you're selling. You're going to see how many people are looking for that type of product. You're going to be able to see other listings that are ranking for those keywords, so you can learn about your competitors. You can see common price points. So if you're asking yourself, oh, could I be charging more for this? Well, look at what the top of your industry is. I always recommend pricing in that top 10%. Second favorite tool for me is going to be the trend tools, for sure. I love looking at the trend buzz and the monthly trend report. I love seeing what trends are spiking out of nowhere, weird little terms like cottage core, and how those can be, spun into new product ideas. Third favorite tool. That's a hard one. Pam, you go ahead and fill in some of yours, because I don't.
Yeah. Well, definitely keyword tool.
Mhm.
Other thing I really love, I'm going to cheat and I'm putting 2 into 1 because they kind of go together, is if you have Google Analytics set up, you want to connect up the traffic stats. and then look at that integration into the Spotted on Etsy tool. So the Spotted on Etsy monitor tool, you want to get in there and add a keyword to it, because as soon as you add just one keyword, it starts working for you, gathering data. But if you've connected up your Google Analytics through the traffic stats tool, then on Spotted on Etsy, you're going to be starting to see the keywords that people are finding you for. And I find this super helpful. When my shop actually started doing great for the holiday sales, I was like, where did that traffic come from? And yeah, you shouldn't keep on looking in at your traffic every 2 minutes, but when you get a big spike, you do kind of want to go and look. And Etsy was useless. Google Analytics is a nightmare to navigate. So I went to eRank, and right on my dashboard, it said, people are finding you for the search term dog bookmark. But thank you. There we go. That meant I didn't have to look anywhere else.
Ooh, keyword lists. That goes hand in hand with the keyword tool. But if you're like, man, this listing that was selling so well, suddenly it's not selling anymore. If you've got all the words that you've used in that listing saved into a keyword list, you can go to that keyword list every single month when we update our data, and you can see the search trend graph for that specific keyword. Because maybe, cottage core was super duper trendy for a while, and you were making a lot of sales of one of your listings, but maybe you start to see that trend is slowing down, and then you know that it's not something that you're doing wrong. It's just that trend is dying out. So that's another really good one.
Yeah. And one thing that's a great time of the year to do this, because we've just had the highest number of searches you'll get in your shop. I dive in and look at the keywords that we're working for just now and put them into a keyword list, that at the end of the summer, I'll dig up this keyword list and have a look and see how were my big keywords? How are they doing just now? Is it worth me maybe making some more listings based on it? It's always handy to see.
Absolutely.
And I think my final tool, definitely I'll throw in, because it's the one how I found eRank, is the rank checker.
Oh yeah,
When
the
I've
rank
made changes to my listing and stuff, it's nice to just quickly look and see. And we have spoke about it at length, so I won't cover it here because Starla says we've got loads of questions. There's limitations to where you're seeing where you're ranking because of personalizations and everything on Etsy. But if the rank checker shows you you're ranking high, that data comes directly from the Etsy API. So it's basically Etsy's marking your listing compared to all the other listings it sees. If you're ranking high, Etsy saying, yeah, we reckon that listing's got a good chance.
Absolutely. All right, Jane, why do Etsy ads show some listings high up in search, but others with similar search terms really low down?
It's an algorithm. The algorithm decides what's likely to make Etsy the most money, and decides where it's showing ads. That's not just what's likely to make Etsy the most money. That's a bit cynical, but the algorithm decides based on the customer where they're searching and how much your listing can make and all sorts of other things. It decides if it's worth showing that listing.
All right, Scott. Oh, he said, just want to say thanks, ladies, for all the insight you provide. I've really worked to apply all your advice this year and went from 2,900 sales last year to being on target for 5,000 sales this year. Awesome. And Scott,
Wow.
you're always here too. So you're a good pupil.
Yep. Yeah, you've done fantastic. Well done.
You ask great questions. So it shows that for all of you who are watching, who are being very quiet, don't be afraid to ask questions.
That's it. There's no dumb questions. And if there's something you don't understand, ask us. If we explain it and you still don't understand, ask a couple of times. And yeah, the more detailed your question, the better the answers. And you might end up with 5,000 sales next year. That would be awesome.
Absolutely. All right, Brittany said, what should our goals be on eRank ad performance metrics? Can we hear some samples? Everybody's goals are going to be different, subjective. Wait, I'm a little confused on the eRank ad performance metrics.
I think it has to be Etsy ad performance, because I'm afraid eRank doesn't have any ad performance metrics just
I
now.
assume she means Etsy.
Yeah.
Profit I mean, really, it just depends on how much money you want to make. There's no samples or examples that we could provide, because it's up to you. You've got to decide what's worth gambling. It's like saying, can you give me some examples of good, how much I should spend at a casino in order to optimize my profits? Well, no, because it's kind of a game of chance. There is a little bit that you can do. There is a little bit of skill to ads, knowing what listings to, market, and what listings to maybe pull your ad revenue back on, and put into a different product. Um, but your goals, you've got to set those for yourself. There's really no black and white answer.
Yeah. Every listing, every niche, every shop will have a different thing. I know plenty of people barely make their money back from their ads. So if you're running them and that was the case, then what you're looking for is to find good keywords, to perhaps find some return customers to get your shop off the ground. Other people make a fantastic return on investment. They make much more money than they're putting in. That usually tends to be really niche shops that know what they're up to with great SEO. So for them, their goals are to make lots of money. So it depends.
Yeah, and she'd reiterated and said, like, cost per click goals, ROI, click through rate, and conversion. Answer's still the same.
Yeah.
It, pro-
You don't have any control really on cost per click, but if stuff isn't making you lots of money and it's not getting you lots of data, turn it off.
yeah.
Like, don't waste money. There's no guarantee with ads.
Let's see. While I'm pulling up, Rosalind asked, do you show us how to manage our advertising in your course? I teach you a marketing timeline in the Handmade Alpha Academy that you can apply to your social media marketing, but I do not teach you um, how to ration out like ad budgets or anything, because it's so subjective, and I'm not going to give you advice that could blow through all of your money. That's not, I really wouldn't trust any coach who did. And I know that that's not the answer that you guys want to hear, because everybody wants the magical solution, but it's kind of a schemy thing to teach. And I don't want to be that person. But I do teach you how to drive traffic from things like social media. So,
Absolutely. I am planning to, because I've been running the ads so I can talk about them, just to show more in depth things, what you're looking at and stuff. But there's no way, like, nobody's going to be able to tell you, oh, your ad budget should be £200 a day and you'll make this much money or something like that. It's
yeah. And there are people that do that. And I know that sometimes seeing, you know, these people who sell like those magical solutions, it seems like something perfect. But we just had a case where somebody was teaching some incorrect information about how to use eRank, and one of our eRank users synced like $8,000 into a program that ended up teaching false information, and she wasn't able to get her money back. So just be careful. Be careful when listening to experts about things that you cannot verify with sources, basically.
Yeah. Sadly, there's no magic data. There's no magic things that anyone can teach you. And if anyone promises you something like that, they're hopefully just exaggerating to get the sale. But that's the nicest way to put it.
All right. I think that we can get to the last. Well, it's the same person, so we should be able to double it up. Okay. Well, Etsy changed the Google Analytics tool. Maybe it did already, haven't checked. Current one that we cannot connect is outdating mid next year. They have not updated Universal Analytics to Google Analytics 4 yet. Go bug Etsy. Email them, post kindly in their community, tag them on Twitter, tell them that we really, really need this data, and that we need Universal Analytics to switch to Google Analytics 4, because it is going away. And you won't even be able to connect Universal Analytics starting January 1st, I believe. So if you still want to get that last little bit of data for December, you got to connect that now, because you're going to miss the opportunity if you haven't already done it.
Yeah, it is an absolute pain. We need Etsy to do this as soon as possible so we can start gathering the right data. And eRank can't do anything with it yet until Etsy allows us to link these things up. So,
and then the last one, could you please give me an example of a star keyword for Valentine's felt ornaments in order to start using it properly on eRank? We can't give you a superstar keyword because we don't have all the search volumes for all of the terms memorized. However, superstar keywords are going to be dependent on you. That's what you want to rank for. I would start with something like Valentine's ornament or Valentine's decor, or if it's heart ornament, heart decor, type that into the keyword tool and then scroll down to the keyword ideas list, and you can cherry pick through that and sort through it and find even better terms. Because if you start with something really broad, just like heart ornament, that might not be the perfect term to describe your item. But if you scroll down to that keyword ideas list, you might find a really cool trend in there that you didn't even know existed, or a way that customers are searching for your type of product that you never thought to phrase in that way.
yeah, that's you're not going to find what you would consider a superstar keyword thinking of a Valentine's felt ornament, but use the keyword tools to see the trends. What do people buy? Are they buying heart things? Are they buying teddies? Are they buying flowers? So, search for those kind of things, and that can give you an idea of what to make. And then once you've made it, also have a look, how are they searching for it? Is it gift for girlfriend? Is it for her? Is it for mom? Is it for boyfriend? So you've got to this is the problem that a lot of people have, not a problem, but so many people will say, right, I make felt ornaments. I want to find this. I want to get a good keyword. So I'm going to type into the keyword tool, Valentine's felt ornament. There's nothing there. Does that mean nobody's looking for these things? You've gone too niche at the beginning. You've got to start out with Valentine's gift. And then in your head, do a little brainstorm. What kind of, like the words we've said, gift for her, teddy bear, flowers, heart, and just go through and have a look at all these things, look at what other similar keywords there are, and look at what the other tags people are using, and just get ideas that way.
Yeah. All right. Oh, sorry, CJ, you caught us right as we're about to get offline. Guys, thanks so much for hanging out with us. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure that you join the eRank group, which will eventually be linked down below. It's not in there yet, right?
I forgot, it's not in there yet.
But you guys, if you click down there and you don't see it, just head over to Facebook and type in eRank group and you'll find it. And if you're watching here in the Facebook group, make sure that you look for our post every Wednesday if you want to get your questions in early. That post is by Pam, and it's pinned by Pam, pinned to the top of the group so that you can ask your questions a day early and get those prioritized. In the event that you're not able to make it live, we can still get your questions answered. And then I have to add in my selfish little plug. My Etsy coaching program is open until December 10th. It's completely self-paced. December 10th is just when we have to cut enrollment, so you can start it at any time. Most people choose to wait till after the holidays. But you get 12 months of eRank Pro with that, and we're actually giving away a free course with it by photography coach Christina Nicole. She does smartphone photography, and she did some really great blogs for eRank. Last month? She's done a couple of them. And they're fantastic. So you can check those out over at erank.com/blog. I think that's it. And hopefully in the next, I don't know, few weeks, we'll have something really fun and exciting and data related to share with you guys that Anthony said that we're not allowed to talk about yet.
Yeah, so that's it. Make sure and join the group and keep an eye out. And keep coming back to these lives and asking all your great questions. Right. Thank you so much, guys.
Bye.